All right. Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. We are talking about 10 Cloverfield Lane, a movie that when it trailer popped out, everyone went, "Oh, a new Cloverfield movie." And then they watched it and they were like, what part of this was Cloverfield? Just the name? Okay. That's because JJ, like I said, JJ Abrams, he did the Hellraiser thing and took an unrelated script called The Cellar, and in fact, it was a whole unrelated movie, and just stamped 10 Cloverfield Lane on it. It really has no connection to Cloverfield at all. And it obviously takes place in 2016, seeing Michelle's phone in this is very modern, at least for the time, back in 2016. So, yeah, I don't know. Could have been happening at the same time, although, like I said, Cloverfield Paradox tries to explain it, and it falls on its face, let me tell you. So, Cloverfield was a found fiction sci-fi horror film. 10 Cloverfield Lane is a thriller, a horror thriller, mostly thriller, that takes place primarily inside of a bunker or cellar and follows three protagonists: Howard, played by John Goodman; Michelle, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead; and Emmett, played by John Gallagher Jr. They are the only three characters we really follow in this. There are two others. There is the fiance slash boyfriend or husband of Michelle that is voiced by Bradley Cooper. Only has like a 10-second cameo. And then there is the one lady that knocks on the window that Howard mentions her name, and I forgot what it was, and her face is all messed up. But they're like cameos. They're barely anything else. So a film like this is one of those cases that if you go in, with the name Cloverfield in mind, you go in expecting straight up connections, sequels to Cloverfield, you're not going to get that. In fact, when I watched this in 2016 or 2017, whenever it came out on Blu-ray, I was a bit disappointed. I was like, this is not, what is he trying? Is this really connected? What's Howard trying to protect him? And then when she goes out and you think everything Howard was saying is bullshit, right? Then you get the aliens coming out. But they're nothing like the creatures in the first film. It's really not hard to go in and mess with the CGI, to just switch it around to make it look like a giant monster in the sky, the giant Cloverfield thing, and then a little creature's crawling around. Even if you couldn't do the giant creature, the giant Cloverfield monster, why not have the spaceship spit out the little Clover monsters? Just change whatever those things look like, the little things that attacked Marlena in the first one. No, you left everything intact because you wanted to put this movie out, but you wanted to make money off of it because you knew it might not be that well if we just call it The Cellar, so slap Cloverfield on the name. But you didn't add any edits to it to make it seem like a Cloverfield movie, other than saying that Howard worked with satellites, which, as we may know, is what caused the Cloverfield monster to wake up and rise out. But, if he came... See, that is also implying that that it was a satellite that fell, which is also different because these are aliens that came from space. Whereas if it was something that containing the monster that fell into the river and then it came out eventually, that would add more with this. But these are straight up aliens. And again, they try to connect it, but in Paradox, but it really, really falls flat. That movie's been very frustrating to talk about. Everything inside the bunker works very well. The tension, the characters, working off each other, whether they're angry at each other or they're getting along. The actors work very well. They chose 3 very good actors. However, I do think it falls apart with the little things they add with Howard. They didn't need to have him stalking her. They didn't need to imply there was another girl that he supposedly killed, maybe dissolved in the acid that he has. You didn't really need to make him the villain, because it turns out everything Howard was trying to tell them was absolutely 100% true. You didn't need... It feels like you had this alien thing planned out, but you didn't think the aliens were a big enough threat. You wanted to add to the struggle, to her not trusting people, and that's part of her character. She doesn't trust people, so you wanted to add to that. But you didn't need to add more things to Howard's backstory, like bad things to his backstory, to do that. I don't think you needed to have the thing with the girl. I don't think you needed to have, the fact that his wife left him and took his daughter away. That's backstory enough. And then he turns full villain and shoots Emmett. And then she turns on him and just, like, I feel like they could have done it better. Her trust issue is fine, but I don't know. I mean, they established Emmett's connection. He used to work for Howard, that sort of stuff. And so that's why they're both there. They were working, stuff happened. He went down there. And then, he was out on the road. And so he's trying to tell her, she's, that it went down as the car accident happened, the car accident, when he ran her off the road. That's when it went down. But obviously it's been going on for longer than that. Because when he tells her this, Emmett's not in the room. He confesses to her that he ran her off the road, but he says it was an accident. He said that he was in a hurry to get home and he accidentally ran her off the road, and then he grabbed her and took her with. But Emmett's not in the room. And she never once asked Emmett, hey, you told me this stuff. Because I have a feeling Emmett would be like, no, I've been happening longer than that, But if that was the question, then if that was true, then wouldn't he question why Howard was out that day? I don't know. It's all very confusing. They don't actually give us, like, when this all started. And so you don't know if it's actually when she had her accident is when it started, or if they've been there longer. It's implied they have been, but yet Emmett never throws it back like, hey, if it's so bad to go out there, why'd you go out there and bring her with? You know what I mean? So everything had to happen at that specific moment for it to work. But he never, I don't remember hearing him mention him bringing her in there. So I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird. Weird. I just feel like you should have left Howard ambiguous as to what his true nature was, because turning him into this bad guy, like revealing there was another girl there, and then have him shoot Emmett playing out, just you should have left him ambiguous, and only when Emmett attacked so she could leave does he fight back and kill Emmett. And then he's not able to get out. Because she starts a fire. So as she gets out and he's trying to go after her, the fire explodes, killing him. And then she sees everything he's saying is true. You didn't need to make him a villain. I feel like That's my big issue, is that Howard did not need to be an antagonist-like character. Ambiguous, yes. Antagonist, no. You didn't need to have it imply that he did bad things. You just, no. To me, that just doesn't work. But everything else in this movie is really good. The tension is done very well. I feel like, like when they're having conversations, like there's the scene where she's flirting with Emmett to piss off because, she realizes that, there's a reason why she was brought there. That it was some kind of, and it's early on in the film too that she realizes this, and he gets pissed and you know what you're doing. You need to stop it. Whatever. I kind of like that. It doesn't really make him an antagonist because she's egging it on, really. But that sort of thing is okay. But then when she gets outside and it's revealed that everything is aliens, the way he's talking, he makes it sound like it's invading force. Like it could be Russians or North Koreans or something. They even talk about that. It could be, they say South Koreans, North Koreans, Russians, stuff like that, invading forces, Even the way he says it, like they send out air troops and then they drop troops down to go, They send out scouts and then they drop down. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. She's an alien spaceship. And it just went down. And then they put out a gas, but the air is toxic, like he says. But here's the thing. Like, he says it's toxic. She's out there. There's birds flying in the air. And she can breathe. Then it releases the gas, which must not have that much. Doesn't stick for long because she puts the thing back on, goes in the car. The alien shows up, yanks the mask off her face, and she can just breathe fine. So, I guess it doesn't have that big of a range. Just right there, air flows. You know that, right? It would move around. I don't know. And then her big character moment at the end, where she, she's prone to running. Every time something gets something gets tough in her life, she always runs. So she has a choice. Baton Rouge is a safe place, but Houston is where, stuff's going down. She chooses to go to Houston. And everyone's like, this is where she chooses to fight. She chooses to stand up and she changes her destiny by doing this. And she embraces, where she's not going to run anymore. Yeah, she's dead. Even if this is not the same thing, it's aliens. We see a bigger ship in the distance. She's changing. But if she would have ran away, she would have been safe. And I know the whole thing is about her characters, that she always ran and never stood up for anything and never fought. And now she's going to fight. But in this case, I feel like setting up the Howard and fighting and getting out of that was good enough. And now she can go be safe in Baton Rouge. And now she's going to go to Houston. And I get what they're trying to do. But this woman's going to die because now she has a backbone. She's not going to survive. She's not going to win. She's going to her death. It never made sense to me. And I've watched reviews. People are, yeah, she's embracing that she's going to fight now. And she's going to go there and kick some ass. No, she's not. She's going to die. She's going to die. She is not going to fight. She's going to die. She's going to die. She should have went to Baton Rouge. I'm sorry. It's stupid. I think it's stupid. People are like, oh, it's showing that she's, going to fight now. And, okay, that's good. Rest in peace. Because you're aliens. You're going to die. Yeah. Yeah, she did all right back then, but that was one alien, one scout. Right? She was able to get away from the scout, and then she blew up that one alien with a Molotov cocktail. But still, there's a bigger ship, and there's more aliens. I don't see her surviving. Sorry. But, yeah, I'll definitely give this the middle of the road. It's not as good as the first one. Wait till you see what I rank the third one. I rate the third one. Is this, oof. But I still think it's a good movie. I think everything inside the bunker is good. And then once you get out there and it's really just aliens. One, if you're expecting something Cloverfield like, this takes all the wind out of your sails. You're going, what, huh? You know, and then, you know, you just, yeah. You know, I'm sitting there watching this, right? It's like, oh man, this is good. This is good. I don't remember what went wrong. And then the stuff with Howard, I'm like, okay, that's a little too much. You didn't need to be an antagonist. And then she goes up top, I'm like, right, the alien stuff that deflates the whole thing. So yeah, but it's definitely in the middle of the road. And you know, I always wondered, why haven't I watched this again? I watched it once when it came out, and I never watched it again. I had the Blu-ray sitting on the shelf. I have it on my Vudu. Never watched it again, and I wondered why. That's why. Because the movie is good until it's not. The movie is good when it's inside the bunker, and then when she goes up top and the aliens is revealed, it deflates. Because you have the tension and everything down there, and you're thinking, okay, something has happened under there. It could be connected to Cloverfield, and then once you get up there, you absolutely know it's not. You know, the little bits of dialogue that Howard throws out. Satellite. Work, and she finds a thing to say he works for Bold Futura, whatever. They made the satellite that fell in and woke up the Cloverfield monster. So there's that connection. So okay, then she goes out and it's completely different aliens, completely different everything. And even then, you know, and then, especially when you're watching this, keeping this and what you remember from the third one in mind, having seen the third one already in mind, everything just doesn't work. But yeah, enough. So what are your thoughts on 10 Cloverfield Lane? Let me know in the comments. Let me share, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.